Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy J-Rod back at it again with another video, and today we're gonna go over these 7 NBA players who also played baseball. Now this is gonna be a new series basically every single week for I think the next 6 weeks or 7 weeks or 8 weeks. I'll be doing a video where I have 7 certain things. Alright, it's just going to be a list, and that's what I plan to do every Tuesday, so watch out for these videos, okay, because we're just gonna dial it up. Alright, I'm in quarantine right now, so I need to do something. I need to give y'all some content, so that's what I intend to do. So let's stop wasting time, let's get into the list. Before we actually get into the list though, I gotta have some honorable mentions, bro. I'm sorry if you're getting a little too excited. But up first, for our first honorable mention, we have Kevin Love and Klay Thompson. Now, if you did not know, Kevin Love and Klay Thompson both played on the same Little League team. Michael Thompson, Klay Thompson's dad, said that Kevin Love probably threw a fastball around the mid-70s when he was a freshman in high school, but he was wrong, because Kevin Love, according to a report, could throw 90 miles per hour as a freshman in high school. And Kevin Love said it himself that if he was a lefty, he would have still been playing baseball, because one of the baseball players he looked up to was the big unit himself, Randy Johnson. And also, if you didn't know, Klay Thompson has a brother, Trayce Thompson. He played in the MLB. I think he played for the White Sox for a little bit and the Athletics. So for our second honorable mention, we have Ron Reed. Now, Ron Reed, he played way back in the Stone Ages of the NBA. I think back in the 50s and the 60s. He spent 2 years with the Pistons, and he averaged about 8 points per game and 6 rebounds a game. In the MLB, however, he found much more success. He was able to get more than 140 wins, more than 100 saves, and get a nice 3.46 ERA while playing most of his career with Philly and Atlanta. And our last honorable mention is Dick Groat. Yes, that is his name. Besides his fantastic name, Dick Groat was actually a solid hitter. He hit .286, had 2 World Series titles, and played most of his career with the Pirates and the Cardinals. And Dick Groat also won an MVP, a batting title, and a World Series in the same season in 1960 with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And aside from baseball, Dick Groat was a 3rd overall pick in the 1952 NBA draft and played for the Fort Wayne Pistons. Not the Detroit Pistons, the Fort Wayne Pistons. He would go on to average about 12 points, 2.7 assists, and 3 rebounds a game while playing for the Fort Wayne Pistons for only 1 season. What I will say about this list is that it is not in like any specific order, okay? This is not from best to worst, all right? This is just players I put in here. I think relevancy has to do with it, so the more relevant names are gonna be like your 3, 2, 1 guys. So at number 7, we have Dave DeBusschere. Now, if you do not know who Dave DeBusschere is, he's just, I don't know, a Knicks legend. And if you're a Knicks fan like me, you know that we haven't won a championship since the 70s. And you know who was on one of those championship teams? Dave DeBusschere. He would go on to average 16 points a game and 11 boards a game and make it to 8 All-Star games. When it comes to baseball, Dave DeBusschere only spent 2 years in the majors. While playing most of his career as a relief pitcher, his ERA was .290 with the Chicago White Sox. Number 6 on the list, we got Gene Conley. Gene Conley was a 6'8" power forward and pitcher, and he went back and forth between the NBA and the MLB. Like, if you look at his season, it just goes back and forth, all right? It's weird, and I think some seasons he actually played both, so that's just pretty interesting in itself. Gene Conley was able to get 3 NBA titles in his NBA career and 1 World Series title in his MLB career. As a pitcher, he had a 3.82 ERA, playing mostly for the Red Sox and the Milwaukee Braves. In the NBA, he was a role player. He averaged about 6 points a game and 6 rebounds a game. Gene Conley, man, just going back and forth like that, I think that's pretty interesting. And the fact that he has 4 rings, 3 from basketball and 1 from baseball, that's a flex. That's a flex right there. And at number 5, we got Pat Connaughton. Now, you probably know Pat Connaughton. He plays for the Bucks, but if you didn't know, he was drafted by the Orioles after having an impressive career at Notre Dame as a pitcher, where his ERA was about 3.03. When it comes to minor league ball, he only played in low single A and he only had one season playing with the low A team, and in that lone season, his ERA was 2.45, but he only pitched 14 innings. The Orioles have gone on to say that if Connaughton still wanted to play baseball later on, they're open arms. I believe it, because the Orioles need some help. But Connaughton seems to be more focused on the NBA, as he is a role player for the Milwaukee Bucks team that was doing so well this season, and it looked like that they can make the finals in the East. But as you know, the Corona just messed up everything. So who knows if he'll get that one shining moment in the NBA Finals. Coming in at number 4, we have Tracy McGrady. Yes, your boy T-Mac. T-Mac was a great scorer in his days as an NBA player. He made it to 7 All-Star games, had 7 All-NBA selections, and he is a Hall of Famer. One thing about T-Mac that I just don't hear a lot of people talking about is the fact that I believe that he peaked early. If you look at the stats, his best season was when he was 23 years old. He never had a season better than that. At the age of 30, he was really ineffective as a player, as his career was basically over due to so many injuries that he had. Even after that tumultuous period in the NBA where he couldn't find his legs again, he said, you know what, I'm gonna go back to baseball, my childhood love. And he actually signed a minor league contract with the Sugar Land Skeeters. It's an independent league that they play in. Actually pitched for 4 games. Vice, they did a documentary on it. You can go watch it. I think it's pretty cool. But in the 4 games that he pitched, he didn't do so hot. He gave up 5 runs and his ERA was 6.75. And you know, it just makes me happy to see that he went back to his childhood love and actually made something of it. Kinda, maybe. Maybe it was a publicity stunt to sell tickets? I don't know. At number 3, we got the GOAT, the greatest of all time. His airness. You already know. You already know who I'm about to talk about. So like you was expecting it when you came and clicked this video. It goes without saying. Michael Jordan. Michael Jeffrey Jordan played for the Chicago Bulls, but he also played in the minor leagues for the Birmingham Barons. They were a AA affiliate for the Chicago White Sox. He did actually play for the Chicago White Sox in their spring training, but when he did have that season with the Birmingham Barons, he wasn't a good player. Alright, he wasn't that good. In the field, he did pretty good. But when it comes to hitting that thing, he hit around 200, alright, just above the Mendoza line. And I think he had 6 home runs as well. Michael Jordan had a few more years. He could have made it to the bigs. He just had so much athletic ability. And the fact that he came back and was already hitting 200 was impressive in itself. So Michael Jordan, who knows? He could have made the bigs, but he said, I want to go back to NBA. And he got himself another 3-peat. But moving on to number 2. And at number 2, we have somebody a lot of people don't mention, and that is Mark Hendrickson. Mark Hendrickson had a pretty tough NBA career, as you can see in this photo, where he only averaged 3 points and 3 rebounds a game in only 4 seasons of play. After those disappointing seasons, Mark was like, yo, I gotta switch it up, alright? And he went and tried his hand at baseball, and that is where he flourished. Well, kind of, because you see, in his first season, Mark was lights out. As a rookie for the Blue Jays, his ERA was 2.45. But after that, it just started to decline, and Mark became an average pitcher. He retired at the age of 37, and his ERA was around 5. Now, last but not least, we have, you're probably thinking of this guy if you know about the NBA players who also played baseball, and you already know his name. Alright, but if you didn't know, this guy is named Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge, Celtics legend. Did you know that he also played for the Blue Jays? Danny Ainge played for the Blue Jays. He was fast-tracked to the majors. He made the major leagues at, I believe, 20 years old after playing in the minors for, I think, a season or 2. So he was fast-tracked to the majors, and maybe that might have hurt him because in his first 2 seasons, they were lackluster. He had a below 600 OPS in those first 2 seasons. And when it comes to his 3rd and final season, he hit below the Mendoza line at 187. So that 3rd season, he was struggling. So Danny said, you know what? I might not be good on the diamond, but I might be good on the court. And on the court he went. When he went to the court, his trajectory in the world of sports changed forever. Ainge would go on to win 2 rings with Larry Bird in the Celtics back in the 80s. And finally, he later became an executive for the Boston Celtics. He's been doing pretty damn good as an executive. In one of those seasons as executive, he won Executive of the Year. So I think going into the basketball realm definitely paid off for Danny Ainge. That's all I have for y'all today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Tune in next week for another installment of the 7 series. And as always, this has been another J-Rod video, so please remember to like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell. And peace. Ballin' too hard through the net, swish. I'm coming with the heat, you need protection. You'll be doomed if you enter my section.